right, well, welcome back. We're straight back into 2024. And as one of the guys in the team said, it's going to be a big 24. So that's what we're all hoping for. So real estate market here in Auckland is feeling more positive. We're seeing more action in the early parts of January 2024 than we were across all of December 23. So what I'm going to start with is auction. I think we can bring properties back into auction. And we actually had some properties that were auctioned, went out of it, were withdrawn. And as we've been looking at properties, we've seen that across the market. Properties that were withdrawn, they're still out. So now we're bringing our vendors back in. So maybe that's going to be the suggestion for your clients. Have a look and bring them back in. Now, why would we go to auction? Let's just revisit some of the fundamentals on it. And I think perhaps the first one is from the buyer's side is it takes price out of it. So obviously it's a no price method of sale. It does have a deadline saying you've got to do something by this date. But by being no price, it's taken away the price objection. So if we price something, and sometimes you have to with auction after if it doesn't sell. But if we price something, the buyers are going to object. They're going to go, oh, it's not worth that. And when I'm looking at price, I'm saying and thinking and trying to explain to people now that there's a difference between the right price and the wrong price. So the right price, easier if you're watching us now, but I'll see if we can do this if you're listening. If you're watching, right price is this thin line. That's the right price. Now, above it is this wide band, wrong price, too high, not worth that. Buyers go, you crazy? I won't even come and have a look at it. Under that thin line of the right price is also the wrong price. It's worth more. So you got it wrong if you priced it down there. So pricing immediately is a hard strategy. You're trying to hit a thin line through the middle. Danger as you go above. It looks too heavy. No one comes along. Danger is it's below and it sells too quickly and it was worth more. And that's the vendor's nightmare and worst fear. And it is obviously, well, not obviously, but it is the agent's worst fear also. The agents just don't want to undersell property. So now if we take price out of it, that objection isn't there. Then a buyer comes along and has a look at value. Question around buyers saying, where's it at? Where does it sit in the market? I think the reality and the best response is if you've seen the photos online, it looks of interest to you, you should come and see it. Yep. So you qualify yourself that way. And then as a salesperson, what you might add, if it's applicable to that property, is that if you've seen it online and you look at the photos and you like them, you should come and see it in person. It's better. That's if it is the reality. Some of our properties, maybe the photos make them look good. So that's keeping the buyer engaged on it. Now, if you are a buyer, where you shoot yourself in the foot is, I think, whether you know it or not, I think you're trying to eliminate property. Saying, oh, well, we wouldn't be able to get that one. We'd miss out on this one. We couldn't afford that, etc., etc. So as you create the list of properties that have potential for you, you're looking at how you can eliminate it. And price would be a natural point, probably the strongest point on which to eliminate it. So if the vendor and the owner's taken that out, you can come and have a look at it, and then you can engage with it. And you can see what the value is, what you could do with it, and how does it work. So now, on the vendor's side, for going to auction, it really is that you're going to gather data and you're going to understand where the market sits. The agent's CMA, that's a throwing a dart against the wall, and I know Wellington's going to tell me off again. But the CMA inherently has challenges in it. It can't predict what the current market's going to do. We couldn't predict that December market, and now we're watching with interest in the January market as it looks better. So now, from the vendor's side, what you're trying to work out is, have we got interest, and at what level? So then from the salesperson, if they do a good job, they'll engage with the buyers come through. They won't corrupt them with any other information, and they'll ask that person, if you're interested, at what level are you interested? And if that dialogue is just between that buyer and relayed straight to you as the vendor, you're going to get nice, clean data. if they relay it to the next buyer by saying, oh yeah, I've got interest on this around X, then that's going to contaminate the second, the third, any subsequent data that comes to you. It's all going to follow a trend or a pattern. So have a look at your agent, talk to your agent, see if they can get that information from a buyer that's interested, and if they can pass it to you without telling other buyers. And then you're going to get a lot of clean data come through. Next thing is, as the vendor, think about your reach, which is your advertising. Like the digital now is, the impact of the digital is now doing what we thought it would have done years ago. And it's really getting the reach and really getting the engagement. We've got guys in our offices and our teams using the digital to promote themselves as salespeople, to look for listing opportunities. One team launched a digital ad on Sunday. I had a look at the proof of that. The guys got it out. And I think right now they've got 19 parties have come to them and said, hey, I'm thinking of selling, come and talk to me. So that's how powerful that is. So we're selling the house, we want to do exactly the same thing. So you're thinking about what we call the portals, which is the conventional sites. You're going to be up on TradeMe, realestate.co, probably Hogarden's going to be in there. In our case, you have a Raywhite site up and running also. But then you are also going to do digital. And so the digital, when we talk about that, is that you're going to be Insta and you're going to be Facebook and you're going to be Google AdWords. So that's going to capture people off to one side. And we all know when we look at our phones, we'll go through and something will pop up that sort of goes, oh yeah, I am quite interested in that, but I wasn't looking for it, but it's found me. So that's what we're looking at as we go. Now, for the vendor, market can tell you what the interest looks like. You can gauge it. We have lots of people showing interest, and I'll tell you now, lots of people might be 4 or 5. Yep. So lots of people viewed, it might be 50, 4 or 5 is showing interest in it and will be at your auction. And from that, you're getting good data. Here's 5 price points at which you can start making a decision where the market value sits. Now, you might be able to get a wider reach on the information in the market on what else is sold, what else has come to market, which allows you to define where the market value sits. Now, from your side as the vendor, you control whether you sell or don't sell, and that's your reserve price and your reserve instructions. And I'm not going to do that on the podcast because that is absolutely confidential for our clients. And when you're inside that with as a client of ours, you go, wow, okay, I now feel really well protected as a client, and I'm now looking forward to my auction. I'm pretty well can see what the outcome would look like. So think about this with your reserve as the vendor. Your reserve allows you to determine sell or don't sell. And that's as simple as it is. If your feedback's at this level and you don't want to sell at that level, your reserve's here and you have taken a decision to not sell at the current market value. If it's here and you put your reserve relative to that, circa that market level, then you have gone in saying, okay, cool, we will now sell, and now it's in the team and the auctioneer and his strategy or her strategy on how they can maximize that sale. And in my mind, what I'm trying to do, and buyers don't listen to this, is I'm trying to beat the market and get somebody to pay more than what the market sits at. Now, if you're a buyer and you do that, don't worry about it. When you come to sell the house, I'll do the same for you. So it's a pretty good deal. And you get to walk away with the house and you would have seen competition on it. So I'm just saying, as we jump back into the beginning of the year, the tail end of last year went soft. This year has picked up already. So immediately with our teams, we're getting back into auction and getting the auction numbers up and running. Good for buyers. You don't shoot yourself in the foot and miss something. Good for vendors. You understand where the price is and you control sell or don't sell by setting your reserve. And I do appreciate, and we'll make a note here, I'll be cheeky doing this, but we've had members in our team now that have already this week alone, and we're on a Wednesday now, have covered off 10 hours of auction training this week. So they are well ahead of the pack. And if you haven't done 10 hours of auction training at any stage, determined on just auction, methodology, strategies, techniques, skills, questions, dialogues, etc., then you're not going to be as good as the other agents out there. And I applaud the guys that have done it, and in particular, a couple of guys in our team. One guy was on that course, I think it was the 4th or 5th time. So there we go. He'll be great value to his clients. So there we go. We got 24 underway, and as Jerry said, it's going to be a big 24. Thank you. Ciao.